All right, so now we're going to move on, and we're going to kind of take that idea of the value of the ratio, and we're going to be using that now to talk about rates. So rates is something that we did talk about, and you are definitely going to be using these a lot next year in 7th grade, so this is something that you really want to know for now. So let's start with an example that I came up with. So first of all, a rate, the biggest thing about a rate is telling us how much per one of something, okay? How much per one, okay? So if I want to know, for example, I drove 400 miles in 5 hours. If I want to know how many miles I drove in just 1 hour, right? I need to figure that out. So I'm going to use my value of the ratio. So I'm going to write this as a fraction. I can drive 400 miles in 5 hours, right? 400 miles per the 5 hours. Well, if I want my rate, this is what makes them the easiest ever. I just have to divide, right? 400 divided by 5, when I divide, that's going to tell me how much per just one. Okay, so if I do 400 divided by 5, you can do long division, you can use a calculator, I don't really care. We just need to know that a rate is dividing. 400 divided by 5 is 80, and this is 80 miles per 1 hour, right? I'm going to drive 80 miles in 1 hour. All you have to do is divide. Remember that this division bar, that little fraction bar means division, right? So that's all I need to do is I need to divide. Pretty simple. Now, something that we need to talk about though. So this is 80 miles per hour. This whole thing is called a rate, right? The 80 miles per hour, this entire thing is called a rate. But when they ask you for the unit rate specifically, they want just the number, just the value. So just this part here is what we call the unit rate. Okay, so just the number 80 is considered the unit rate. Just some vocabulary for us to know. So let's take a look. I actually want to look at this one on the bottom first. Okay, I'm going to read it, and I want you to pause your video and try it on your own. Okay, it says Eli slept 48 hours of the past 4 days. How many hours did he sleep per day? Can you pause and tell me how many hours did Eli sleep per day? And hopefully you did that work. So now let's take a look. And I know that I'm going to write this as a fraction, 48 hours and 4 days. When I divide those, I get 12. 48 divided by 4 is 12. So this is 12 hours per day, okay? Hours per day. This whole thing, 12 hours per day, is the rate. Remember, if they ask you for the unit rate, they just want the number, okay? Now, this one's a little bit trickier. I'm going to tell you about it because this is a real life. My husband and I have had to find some new formula that works better for Eli. He has some tummy issues, and so he doesn't take normal formula very well. Now, the issue is that this fancy formula that we need to put him on is pretty expensive. So my husband and I were using unit rates because we wanted to know which can we should buy. There is a can of formula that is $41 for 22 ounces, or there was an option for $52 for 29 ounces. My video's in the way, so I'm going to move it a little bit here, okay? Or it was $52 for 29 ounces. So I want you to pause the video, and I want you to use unit rates to tell me which one would be the better buy, which one is going to save us more money, because that's what we really care about. So I want you to pause your video, and I want you to try that on your own. Now, when you're going to solve this, I'm going to go over this, and I'm going to tell you what my husband and I did. We said, well, if I want to know which one's the better buy, which one saves us more money, then I want the one that's going to be cheaper per ounce. It's easy for me to compare them when I'm looking at how much am I paying for 1 ounce to decide which can I'm gonna buy. So I'm going to do my $41 divided by the 22 ounces. Now I did use a calculator for this because I can't really do that in my head. You can also do long division, either one is fine. When I divide those, this is going to be about $1.86 per ounce. Okay, so that's for the first one. This second one is going to be 52 divided by the 29. When I divide those, 52 divided by 29 is about $1.79 per ounce. So when I'm deciding which one's cheaper, which one is going to be better for us in the long run, I'm going to buy this one on the left, right? I'm going to buy the bigger can, not because it has more ounces, but because it costs less per ounce of formula. Okay, be very careful, make sure you set it up the correct way. If I were to, for example, take this second example, and if I were to switch it, if I did 29 divided by 52, you need to be very careful because when I divide those, okay, this gives me 0.55. Be very careful because this is not 55 cents per ounce. You've switched them so that now you have ounces per the $52. So this is really 0.55 ounces per $1, right? If I spent $1 worth of formula, or if I wanted to buy $1 worth of formula, I would only get 0.55 ounces. Now that doesn't make as much sense in this context because we know that we buy it by the ounce, not by the dollar, right? But I just want you to keep that in mind. Be very careful that you don't switch up the order of those different parts of your ratio here. All right, good luck.